Welcome back to Chat Like a Native. Today, we're not just talking about English, we're helping you actually live in it. We're going to show you how to turn your everyday stuff, your phone, your coffee break, even waiting for a file to download into real English practice. The idea is to stop feeling like you're always studying and start, well, just using the language naturally. We call this strategy micro-immersion. And the key, it's just a few simple, small switches repeated often. We think we can unlock this whole system for you in about the next 12 minutes.
Micro-immersion, yeah. It might sound a bit technical, but it's really just about changing what your brain expects, linguistically speaking.
Exactly. The single biggest shift you need to make is internal. It's about changing your language defaults.
That's it. Think about your daily routines. A default is basically the setting that's chosen automatically if you don't pick something else, like what language pops up first when your phone restarts. That's the default.
And we want to help you make English the automatic answer to that question, the default. Okay, before we dive into the how-to with technology, let's just quickly practice a phrase. It helps clarify decisions. Just say this out loud after me. Try for a strong, clear rhythm. I'll make that my default starting point.
Good. Try to use that same kind of clear, confident voice when you're doing the micro practices we'll talk about later today.
All right, let's unpack this micro-immersion idea. It's really built on making English the default setting for your day, right? Not something you always have to consciously decide to do, like opening a textbook. And the first big pillar is flipping your technology because, let's face it, our phones and laptops are practically glued to us.
Exactly. And what's great here is that this is kind of a set it and forget it type of action. Seriously, the single most powerful switch. Change your system language to English on your phone, on your laptop.
I can imagine some listeners thinking, whoa, wait, what if I can't find the settings menu afterwards? And yeah, that struggle is real. I remember when I first switched my laptop, I genuinely couldn't find the screen brightness setting for a whole day. It was slightly annoying.
It can be. But here's the interesting part. Those little moments of confusion, they instantly become vocabulary lessons, unplanned ones. You already spend time every day clicking through menus, dismissing notifications, finding settings. Just think about it. When you make the switch to English, all those mundane little interactions become forced micro lessons. You learn low battery warning, software update, inbox full, without even trying.
Okay, so system language is number one, but what about beyond that, like specific apps?
Right. You need to tackle your main apps too. Set your email, your calendar, maps, music apps, streaming services, set the interface, and ideally the content defaults to English.
And this is where you can really leverage your own interests, isn't it?
Absolutely. Here's a crucial tip. Follow English language creators or sources and topics you already find interesting. If you love cooking, follow English-speaking chefs online. If you're into gaming, watch English streams. If personal finance is your thing, find English commentators. Your interest is the fuel. You have to use it, otherwise the practice just feels like homework.
That makes sense. Connected to what you enjoy. Okay, what's the third tech flip?
Using your voice assistant in English,
Right.
like Siri or Google Assistant or Alexa. This is fantastic because it's instant, low-stakes pronunciation practice. The device has to understand you pretty clearly to actually do what you ask.
Oh, I like that. What's a short, everyday command someone might use? For me, it's probably setting a timer or a reminder constantly.
That's perfect. A timer is a great drill line. We're practicing a simple command here for instant feedback on, like, your rhythm and clarity.
Okay, let me try first. Pause once, set a timer for 5 minutes.
Okay, clear enough. But let's see if we can make it flow just a bit more naturally, like how native speakers might say it quickly. That little connection between set and a. It should be really fast, almost like one sound. Set a timer. Try that line again. Just try to match this rhythm. Set a timer for 5 minutes.
Set a timer for 5 minutes.
Setter. Now you listening, try it at home. Focus on that quick rhythm. Say it one more time. Set a timer for 5 minutes.
Okay, so if that first big idea, flipping your tech, is mostly about passive consumption, letting English kind of find you, then big idea number 2 has to be about active output, right? Actually using the language.
Exactly. This is key. Most learners, understandably, listen and read a lot more than they speak or write. Micro-immersion needs to flip that balance, or at least nudge it.
We need to actively create chances to speak, even if initially it's just talking to ourselves. But hang on, first you mentioned improving the input side too, using something called paired media.
Ah, yes. Paired media. It sounds fancy, but it's really simple. It just means content that gives you both the text and the audio or video together. Think of maybe an online article that has a button to read it aloud, or a short YouTube clip that has accurate captions or a full transcript available.
Wait a second. How is that different from just, watching a Netflix show with the English subtitles on? Doesn't that sometimes get distracting trying to read and watch?
That's a fair question. I think the main difference is your intention and the length. With a movie, yeah, subtitles can pull your focus from the story. Paired media, used strategically, is often shorter content. You might listen or watch once just to get the main idea, then maybe listen again right away, but this time really focus on connecting the sounds you hear to the words you see in the text. It helps make that connection stick better. It's more deliberate practice.
Okay, got it. So it's about consciously linking sound and spelling.
Right, and once you start building that connection, you need to actually use the language you're absorbing. That brings us to the 3-2-1 self-talk drill. This one's brilliant, I think, because it takes totally routine actions, things you already do, like sorting emails, making coffee, tidying your desk, and turns them into speaking practice.
So you're essentially learning the language patterns for explaining things, the grammar of explanation, by practicing these little internal monologues out loud.
Precisely. And the drill is super simple. You can aim to do it maybe 3 times during your workday or whenever. First, the 3. 3 times a day. Just briefly narrate what you are doing out loud for maybe 30 seconds, for example. Okay, I'm filtering the spreadsheet by client cost now because these numbers seem a bit off.
Okay, narrate the action, then what?
Then the 2. Think of 2 quick questions you might ask a colleague about it if they were there. Like, should I double check the formula I used? Or could this be a reporting error from their side? Just verbalize the questions.
Right, so you practice asking relevant questions. And the final step.
And finally, the 1. State one clear decision out loud. Something like, okay, I think I'll email the summary now, but I'll flag this potential discrepancy. It forces you to practice making and stating decisions in English.
That's really practical. It makes you rehearse immediate, useful professional language in context. Speaking of professional language, maybe we can practice a couple of those high-utility phrases right now, those little chunks that help organize conversations and make you sound more confident in meetings.
Good idea. Let's do a quick substitution drill. Phrase 1. Let me circle back to, which just means you want to return to a topic later on. Try substituting the reason or topic. Repeat after me. Let me circle back to the budget report.
Let me circle back to the budget report.
Good. Now try. Let me circle back to the project timeline.
Let me circle back to the project timeline.
Nice. See? It's a smooth way to postpone something without being abrupt. Okay, phrase 2. Could we park that? Similar idea means let's postpone discussion of this specific topic for now. Let's substitute the timing. Try this. Could we park that and return at the end of the day?
Could we park that and return at the end of the day?
And maybe. Could we park that and return in our follow-up meeting?
Could we park that and return in our follow-up meeting?
Perfect. Those are super useful chunks to have ready.
Definitely. Okay, so we've set up the system, flipping the tech for passive input, using drills like 3-2-1 for active output. But things can still go wrong, right?
Yeah.
There must be common traps.
Oh, absolutely. Even with a good system like Micro-Immersion, learners definitely face some common hurdles. Let's talk about 3 big ones to watch out for. The first trap is what I'd call vocabulary isolation. This happens when you study single words, like from a list, maybe turnaround or quick. But then when you actually try to speak, they just don't come out smoothly or naturally.
Right, because we don't really speak in single words.
Exactly. So the fix is pretty straightforward conceptually. Keep phrases intact. Don't just memorize turnaround. Learn and store the whole chunk, like a tight turnaround, or we have a tight turnaround on this, or instead of just quick, learn make a quick call. Language really lives in these chunks, and those chunks are much easier for your brain to grab and use in conversation.
Store the whole phrase. Got it. What's trap number 2?
Another common one is too much input. It's easy to do. You get to the end of the week, maybe Sunday evening, and you realize you've listened to hours of podcasts, watched videos, but you haven't actually produced much English yourself.
All consumption, no creation.
Pretty much. So the fix here is really about accountability. Track your input-output balance. Maybe on Sunday, just quickly sketch out a rough plan for the week. Aim for, say, 3 main input activities: reading an article, watching a show, listening to something. But then consciously plan 3 output activities too, doing the 3-2-1 drill, writing an email in English, having a short practice conversation, recording a voice memo. The point is, you probably haven't fully learned something if you haven't tried to use it. So balance that input and output.
Makes sense. Track the balance. And the third pitfall.
The third one is getting stuck on grammar worksheets. Focusing only on abstract rules, fill in the blanks, totally separate from how you actually use English in your real life.
Yeah, I think many learners feel they should do those, but they don't always translate to better speaking.
They often don't bridge the gap effectively. So a much more practical fix is something called the upgrade the line technique. It's simple. Take a real sentence you actually wrote or said recently, maybe in an email or a meeting or even in the 3-2-1 drill, and just try to improve it twice, make it a little better.
Okay, how would that work? Give us an example.
Sure. Let's say your original sentence was maybe a bit basic, like, send report tomorrow. Okay, functional, but not great.
Right, a bit blunt.
Exactly. So upgrade 1 might focus on adding politeness or a bit more clarity, maybe. Could you send the report tomorrow morning? Better, right? More polite adds a time frame.
Clearer.
Then upgrade 2 could focus on adding more detail or precision. How about, could you send the updated report by 10 a.m. tomorrow? See, we added a specific adjective, updated, and a hard deadline by 10 a.m. You're evolving your own English based on your own needs, not just memorizing rules from a book.
I like that. Upgrading your own sentences. Very practical. Okay, amazing. We have definitely covered a lot of really practical ground here, helping you weave English into the day-to-day. Shall we do a quick check, see what's stuck with everyone? Ready for a very quick mini quiz?
Let's do it. Ready?
Question 1. We talked about flipping your technology, changing defaults. What's the name of the overall strategy that uses this idea of small switches, repeated often?
Pause twos. Okay, that would be micro-immersion. The core idea is consistency over intensity.
Correct. Micro-immersion it is. Question 2. That speaking practice drill where you narrate what you're doing, ask yourself 2 questions, and then state 1 decision out loud. What do we call that one?
Ah, the talking to yourself one. That's the 3-2-1 self-talk drill, turning your inner monologue into practice.
Perfect. Got it. Final question. True or false? The best way to fix vocabulary isolation where single words don't come easily is to study those single words even harder until you memorize their dictionary definitions.
Oh, definitely false. The fix is the opposite. Learn and remember language in practical, intact chunks and phrases like tight turnaround or could we park that?
Excellent. Looks like the system really landed. Fantastic job, everyone listening.
So just to quickly recap, this whole micro-immersion system really boils down to 3 key actions you can start doing today. First, set defaults. Flip your text system language, app interfaces to English. Make the language find you without extra effort.
Second, chunk language. Focus on learning and remembering whole phrases, these useful chunks like, let me circle back to, or make a quick call, not just single isolated words. It helps your speech flow much more naturally.
And third, remember that output matters. Use active drills, especially that 3-2-1 self-talk, to turn your routine actions into speaking practice. Bridge the gap from passive listening to active use.
Right. So building on that, we want to leave you with a very specific 60-second practice challenge for this week. For the next 7 days, set what we call a floor not ceiling goal. That means your absolute minimum daily target should be so small, so achievable that you basically cannot fail.
Consistency totally beats intensity here. Your floor could be something tiny. Record just one 60-second voice memo on your phone each day, maybe describing your breakfast. Or write down one single organizational phrase, like the ones we practiced, on a sticky note, and make sure you use it in at least one email or message that day. Just get a small streak going.
Love that. The goal is consistency.
Exactly. We really hope these ideas help you shift English from being something you feel you have to study to something you just naturally inhabit, lightly but relentlessly.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks everyone. See you next time.
And next week, we're going to look at how to sound a bit more casual and natural in everyday English conversations. We'll explore why native speakers seem to always be saying gonna and wanna.